Hansworm Hat. So here's the follow-up. I'm going to talk about everyday trainees and hand signs, diction, and also I'll throw in there a symbol, just other general stuff. So hand signs, I'll just tell you all the stories I have from hand signs, or at least all the ones I can think of. First, really quick though, I think that the hand signs are there. Well, it's a language, it's a sign language for them, between them, but I think that they believe that through these hand signs that they can manipulate situations. I think that just like they think that the numbers have power, they think that these hand signs have power, and how it might actually work psychologically. So here I'll give an example and I'll explain what I mean. So here's two different examples of FTMs in my life. That one of them was invited over, came over to the house, was wearing, they love to wear tranny clothing too. And I think it's like, maybe even because they know I'm awake, they like to do it even crazier. This FTM comes over to my house in a royal purple t-shirt, and I forget, it was some band, but the band name was like, it was just a tranny name, like he, she's, basically. I don't know, I forget what it was. It was like he queen or something. I don't remember exactly, but they just wear it. They show their symbols so proudly. Anyways, as this FTM, before they walk into my house, just really obvious, does a Mason M on the hip and then comes into the house. Like it's a ritual or something. Like, why else would you do that? That's a typical thing. Being at a doorway is oftentimes like a cue to do some sort of ritual. And that would just be an easy reminder. Every time before I walk into a building, I do this hand sign. And I see that a lot, the Mason M before people enter in buildings. Or at doorways. So here's another instance. And another FTM friend comes over to just have a conversation, stands in the doorway, boom, Mason M on the hip, and just keeps that hand sign there throughout the whole conversation. And these days, I just look at them, I look down at their hand sign, I look up at them, I look down at their hand sign. It's ridiculous. And sometimes they'll like move it once they notice that I'm looking at it, but sometimes they just keep it there. So whatever, this tranny just kept the Mason M on the hip throughout the whole conversation. So I think that I think that they believe it commands authority. That's just my guess. I think that the different hand signs, obviously they probably mean different things. You have a different hand sign to do a different thing. And the Mason M, the M on the hip, I'm guessing that they're just trying to command authority in some sort of situation, be the higher up, be the master. Maybe that's what the M means. Or at least one of the things. I don't think any of their symbols mean just one thing. I think they mean a lot of different things. And how does it accomplish it? I think that, so they show these symbols all the time in old paintings and on TV. And so if they time these symbols with certain situations, they can imprint meanings into these symbols. And so the thing with this Mason M or whatever on the hip, all of the presidents and, just anyone famous does this hand sign. So it just commands authority because those are the higher up people all do this hand sign. So if you proudly display this hand sign. And, yeah, I just think of, whenever I think of that, I think of back to, like, Napoleon has tons of images were painted with that hand sign flashing. So they probably just try to subconsciously program us to associate that hand sign with people who have power. All right, and that's a hand sign I've seen a lot of regular bio women throw, that one really obviously, and these bio women seem pretty evil, like they're part of the cult. So devil horns obviously is another obvious sign. This one though, it gets thrown around sometimes. I have a lot of family that they teach their kids to throw this sign. They throw this sign all the time, but these are trannies with the edgy there. They have an edgy look. It's funny. A lot of these creatures, they don't seem genuine at all. They just like adopt, I'm just going to be a punk, edgy person because, I don't know. And they just totally adopt that look. I'm gonna go get a million tattoos. And so anyways, and once they've adopted that look, throwing the devil horns, they just say, well, whatever, it's like, I like Pantera or whatever. Pantera. Pan, the goat. Terra, earth. All of these bands are completely satanic. And concerts are just giant Satan rituals, really. Satanic rituals. So yeah, devil horns. I have another personal story for devil horns. I was just home for the holidays, and my Rex bro was telling a story, and while telling the story, like with his hands, her, whatever, hands, was like subtly making the devil horns off to the side while he was telling this story. So I think that the devil horns can just be trying to influence. It's just like a deception thing. If you're telling an exaggerated story or a fibbed story, and you want people to believe you, or I don't know what else it could mean. It could just kind of, maybe it's the demon coming through them while they're lying. I have no idea. But I see that a lot, just the devil horns. I see people point with the devil horns a lot. There's no reason. There's absolutely no reason. If you're pointing, it'll be just for something like, oh, where's the nonfiction section? They'll be like, oh, over there, pointing with devil horns. There's absolutely no reason to need to do that. Way before I was even awake, I saw this, and I would even call people out. I've even said before, why did you just point with devil horns? But that was way before I was awake. Now I see it way more often. I'm always watching people's hands now, and people point with devil horns all the time. There's no reason to do that. Not that long ago, actually, I was just driving in the car, and there was a Free Martin pulled up next to me with their hand out the window, and they would casually make the devil horn signs at me. So that's just another one. They're like, oh, here's a regular next to me. I'm gonna throw him some devil horns. I don't know what they think, that they're putting a curse on us or what. But if you start watching people's hands, you will absolutely see them throw signs. I have more stories. Just up at a cash register at a store checking out, and somebody else goes to the cashier next to me, and it's two Free Martins, two FTN. And the cashier guy throws up the hidden hand sign. And then the guy who's about to purchase stuff throws up the hidden hand sign. They're talking to one another. They're, hey FTM, hey FTM sister. Oh, hey FTM sister. Just using because they both were hormone abusers. Fake hair, just FTM training. They all look the same, but they don't look like regular men. And so that's how they know each other. That's probably how they can, how bees, like they love the bee analogy. Bees can spot the other classes of bees. The trannies can spot the other classes of trannies. If you're a frumpy Free Martin who's super fat and, I don't know, they can probably tell, oh, you're a low class Free Martin that doesn't even know that you're a tranny. But if there's a fake hair, tranny face, hormone abuser, 6 foot whatever Free Martin, and they see another 6 foot whatever hormone abusing fake hair Free Martin, they know right there that they're higher class trannies. Anyway, so I've seen them throw signs to one another as a greeting. Obviously, it's a sign language. So yeah, I'll finish up, because I can do diction and the other one really fast. So diction, just start paying attention to the actual words that people use. They love using words about trans, with trans in it. If you meet some hulking creature who claims to be a woman and she's like, oh, I just transformed my kitchen into, okay, you know what you're dealing with. That's what I mean by diction. They choose the words that they use very specifically. Really listen to the words that people choose. And so that's diction. And you can even play with people sometimes. I've kind of toyed around with, when my mom's been visiting, just read the book there's just some book about an animal turning into all sorts of different animals. And just after the book's over, say something like, well, that was quite the transformation, right? Like things like that. You only people that would be in on the secret would say stuff like that. Okay, and so lastly, just the signs and symbols that they'll wear it on clothing, like it's no big deal. So I just have one story for that. And all you have to do is start paying attention. I see people just with Mason stickers on their cars all the time, obvious tranny stickers, Illuminati stickers all over the place. And my one personal story for this, just a colleague, we would have a weekly meeting, and this colleague, tranny face, has first of all, the work that we would do has nothing to do with the earth, but this creature has a globe in their office. It's because they're bragging that they know that it's fake. Once they've been illuminated to that level, the first thing that they do is they probably go out and buy a globe and put it in their office once they figure that out. So anyways, this tranny face would always wear this Illuminati t-shirt. Just the most over-the-top Illuminati references all over the t-shirt. Not even trying to hide it. So that's the last thing. They'll wear their symbols like it's nothing. They'll always wear baseball caps that have just a pyramid on it. Things like that. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the follow-up video, and God bless everybody.